All right, we're going to be adding and subtracting integers today. So let's get started. Please follow along with your notes and fill them in as we go. All right, today we talked about integers and positive and negative integers. They are whole numbers, and 0 is neither positive or negative. Let's fill in some vocabulary on the next page. Absolute value is the distance a number is from 0 on the number line. So this is always a positive number because distance cannot be negative. We're always traveling a positive distance. So our absolute value of a number will always be positive. An integer is, just like we said, a positive or negative whole number. So -1, 6, all of those numbers there are whole numbers, and they could be positive or negative. A negative integer is a digit less than 0, and a positive integer is a digit greater than 0. All right, so what does all this mean, and how are we going to add them? So when we add integers, if the signs are the same, we will keep the sign and add the numbers. For example, if we had 5 plus 8, we've been doing positive integers since we were in kindergarten. 5 plus 8, we can see the signs positive 8, positive 5, positive 8. We know we're going to keep the signs and we just add. Okay, the same thing would happen if they were negative integers. If we had a -6 and we added a -2, okay, the sign negative is here and a sign negative here. They're the same, so we just add the numbers and keep the sign. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. What about if the signs are different? Then you're going to subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the number with the greater absolute value, or the higher, I guess I put in the notes, the higher, with the higher absolute value. So the way I like to think about this is who will win. So you have a red team and a blue team, and let's suppose these are kind of our negatives and these are our positives. And if the negative team showed up with 3 people and the positive people showed up with 5, who would win? Well, the red team would win. And by how many? By 2 people, right? These guys would cancel each other out and we'd really have a difference of 2 people. Okay, so our answer would be 2. Now, if we had a different situation, and in this case, let's say we had 5 negatives and 4 positives, okay, we still subtract. Who's going to win? We had 5 and 4, so there would be 1 person left over, but it would be the negative person. So these people would all get canceled out, and there would just be 1 person left. Okay, so that's how I like to think of it, as teams. Whoever has the most people win, and then obviously you have to keep the sign of the winning team there. We're going to see some more examples of this. Okay, one thing that's a little tricky is when there is a double negative. So right here in our notes, when there is a double negative, the 2 negatives create a positive. Okay, so unlike in real life, 2 negatives make a positive. So I like to think about this. Let's say we had 5 minus a -3. Okay, so you might see this in a problem. 5 minus a -3, I like to think about a magnet. Okay, and this is part of a magnet and this is part of the magnet, and they join together when there's 2 negatives they kind of magnetize into that positive and become a positive, okay? And that's how I get my answer. So a 5 minus a negative 3 is actually 8. We're going to see some more examples of this, but I want you to remember that negative and that negative coming together to form a positive. This one just like jumps up and goes in there, okay? When we subtract integers, we're actually going to rewrite them as an addition problem. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to try not to subtract integers. We're always going to try to think of them as adding them. And then we'll follow the same rules as above as we just learned for adding. So for instance, if we had negative 5 minus 7, this minus is actually going to go with the 7 there. So we're going to rewrite it as negative 5 plus a negative 7, okay? And we already learned when our teams are the same, we have 5 negative people and 7 negative people coming together, they're just going to make a bigger negative team. So now we have 12 negative people, and that's our answer, or 12 negatives. Okay, in the next example here, and y'all should be writing this on your sheet so you have some examples to go back to. You have 9 minus 6. Again, we have a negative or a minus sign, 9 minus 6. Remember, we don't want to do subtraction, so that negative is going to stick with the 6, and we're just going to put an addition sign in there. 9 plus a negative 6. Okay, now we have two different teams. We have the positive team and the negative team coming together. And really, you would see some parentheses there. So those aren't decimals. Those are just my dots. Okay, so 9 plus a negative 6. We're going to, which team would win? Who has more people on the team? We have 6 negatives and 9 positives. So the positives would win. So we're going to have, our answer will be positive. And we're just going to subtract the numbers. 9 minus 6 is 3. So obviously, on this example, 9 minus 6, you all know how to do 9 minus 6. I'm just showing you if it was an integer, and you don't have to rewrite it when they're both positive numbers. So we'll just keep going. But you do know how to do this. This is just a simple problem. I'm just showing you the expanded way with integers. Okay, negative 4 minus 2. That negative is going to stick with the 2, and we're going to put the plus sign in there. So negative 4 plus a negative 2. We're going to use parentheses to show that that's a negative 2. And once again, we have the same team. We have 4 negatives and 2 negatives. So when we have that, our team is just getting bigger. So our answer is negative, and we do 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay? All right, we're going to do some examples here. And I'm going to show you a couple different ways to solve integer problems, and then y'all are going to practice. So on this one, 6 plus negative 9, I've got my picture. I've got my 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here of the positives, and I've got my 9 negative people. Okay? And all you're going to do, this is a picture that you can draw. So positive and negative, these all cancel out, and what do I have left? 3 negatives. Okay, so my answer is negative 3. Okay? Another way that we're going to do this is actually on the back of your page. This was example A. Another way we can solve integer problems is on a number line. So we always start at 0, and it says go forward 6. So we're going to go forward to 6. And then it's saying go backwards 9. So if we go backwards 9, and you can count these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, this is going to be at negative 3, and that would be our answer right there. So on these examples, you guys are going to show me a picture and a number line to solve these. Let's do a couple more examples. Negative 1 minus 8. All right, we're going to first have to rewrite. So on this problem, remember that negative stays with the number. So negative 1 plus negative 8. Okay, and now we've rewritten it as an addition problem. We have our teams, and I'm going to draw my picture first. So I've got one negative, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negatives. Do I have anything that can cancel? No. My team is just getting bigger. I had 1 and I added 8 people to my team, so now I have 9 people on my negative team. Okay? Again, on the number line, we start at 0. It says go back. Negatives are always backwards or left of here, so we went back to -1, and then it's saying go back 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if we count that out, we're going to end up at -9. So I will just show back 8, 1, and then back 8. Okay, and that's how we'll do that one. I'm going to do 2 more examples for you guys. -2 plus 8. So there's my 2 negatives, drawing my picture first. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positives. Okay, so the next thing is how many can cancel? I can cancel here and here. What am I left with? I'm left with 6 positive people on my team. Okay, 6. And on the number line, it would be starting at 0. This direction says go back 2. So I'm going to go backwards to -2. And then plus 8 says go to the right 8. So if I go to the right 8, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This doesn't say go to 8. This says from where you are, so we were at -2, count forward 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're at 6. Okay? So there's a lot of different ways to do integer problems. We're going to do one more together, and then y'all are going to work on these examples on your own. Okay, so here we go. We have 2 minus a -3. So right away, I see there's 2 negatives together. Okay? Remember, when 2 negatives are together, they're like a magnet, and they attract. So this one jumps in and forms a plus here. So when I rewrite it, I really have 2 plus 3. Simple. We've been doing that since kindergarten. 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay? My picture, 2 positives, and we're adding 1, 2, 3 positives. Okay? For my number line, we start at 0, and it says go forward 2. So we go to 2, and then it says go forward from here 3 more. 1, 2, 3, and we're at 5. All right, so you guys are going to try to do E on your own, as well as the rest of this page through J. So we will check these problems tomorrow. Draw your picture, use your number lines. Remember, here's a clue on this one, 2 negatives. Watch out for that. And we'll check these tomorrow in class. I do want to see you drawing pictures and using your number lines so that you have multiple ways of solving these problems. Great job, guys. Now you know how to add and subtract integers. We'll see you tomorrow.